It is spring, and where is my Total War Warhammer 40k update? Well, you might remember that Creative Assembly has been promising us that they will be back in spring with more information on the game. Now it is spring, has been for over a month, and we have still 2 months of spring ahead of us. And that's exactly it, right? They have never promised that they will be back right at the beginning of spring, and they never really gave us a date besides of spring. So let's talk about the three possible options here we have when we are actually getting that announcement. The first one is the one I would love to see, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people would just love to see as well, is that in April we are getting a big event with gameplay, developer interviews, and an absolute deep dive on what this game has to offer. But I will also be honest, this has the lowest chance. Why? Because developers and publishers in particular want to have as many eyes on their product as possible. Duh, right? They want to sell that thing. And having your own event, yes, Creative Assembly, Total War, and Warhammer definitely have a big core audience, but they want to reach so many more people. So to have your own event in April, I would say that's a pretty low chance. Again, I would love to see it, but I don't think that's what we are getting first. What we are probably getting is that they are linking this big announcement to other big events happening in spring. And that leads us to the second option, Warhammer Skulls. Now, if you don't know really what that is, Warhammer Skulls is an annual event which is happening in May, and this is where all the Warhammer video games are getting a showcase: consoles, PC, mobile, the whole shebang, right? And there might be a good chance that this is where Total War Warhammer 40k will be showcased. Now, I say that, but I still don't think that it will show up there in a big way. Why am I saying that? Well, the thing with Skulls over the years has been that, yes, they do showcase a lot of games there. They are not necessarily always showing the biggest games. I still remember when Space Marines 2 was announced, and we kind of hoped that we would get some information, especially when they said, yeah, Space Marines 2 will be there. And the only thing we really got was a behind the scene look and the team promising that they are basically taking good care of the game. And that was it. No gameplay, right? And a lot of people were severely disappointed, of course. And I have the feeling they will do the same thing here with Total War. Why? Because just a few weeks after that, and this leads us to option number three, we are getting the Summer Games Fest, aka the Jeff Keighley week, aka not E3 anymore. And that is always happening at the beginning of June. And what I assume is that in May, probably a few days before Warhammer Skulls, they are like, oh yeah, definitely make sure to check out Warhammer Skulls to get more infos. Then in Warhammer Skulls, we are getting a quick teaser with them telling us to check out the Summer Games Fest, which might be directly the Summer Games Fest um, opening stream thingy Jeff Keighley is doing, or which could also be a possibility is that the game will show up on the Xbox Games Showcase, which was just announced as on the 7th of June. But Mole, June is not spring anymore. Right. This is why we are getting a teaser, and then the PR department can clap themselves on the shoulder and be like, well, we promised them spring with some more information, right? And there was some information. I have unfortunately seen this far too often happening with games, and I know that's shady and I hate that they are doing it, but that is what mostly will happen. Like, again, I am definitely in favor for the whole April thing with a huge event or even Warhammer Skulls, but from a PR perspective, You do a teaser in Warhammer Skulls, and then the biggest showcase after the Game Awards is the Summer Games Fest, right? Is the Xbox showcase. And Microsoft has a really good connection with Sega. They had multiple years where they have announced some really, really big games at that Xbox showcase exclusively, right? They had some major announcements there with Sega. And so I wouldn't be too surprised if Sega is saying, hey, like, sure, you can tease stuff and all that, but the big bang, we want that at the Xbox showcase. And I will be honest, take your time. Like, Creative Assembly has to deliver on this. If you have followed Creative Assembly the last few years, let's be honest here, it wasn't great. They made a lot of mistakes, they had a lot of failures, starting with Hyenas, then, of course, Total War Pharaoh, and they nearly completely fumbled the bag on Total War Warhammer 3. And they slowly turned it around in the last year or two, but it's not just with the player base, it's also Sega, which is probably looking at them and is going, hey, your clock is ticking. Screw this up. And this is not the big success. You would end up on the chopping block like all the other Western studios we have been basically getting rid of in the last year or two. So, yeah, they have to nail it. And the more eyes are seeing that game and the more people are interested who are normally not into this type of game or even into this type of universe, like the Summer Games Fest is probably where it will be. And one last thing, let's also not forget, we don't even have a release date. We don't even have a release year. For all we hope is that the game is coming out probably by the end of the year, but I wouldn't be too surprised if we don't see it before 2027. And again, take your time. I don't want to have a 1.0 shit show again, which we sometimes had with some of the Creative Assembly games. Let's not forget that. But with that said, we are at the end of the video. So thank you so much for watching. Let me definitely know when you think we will finally see something about Total War Warhammer 40k down below in the comments. Also, if you enjoyed the video, then don't forget to leave a like. And if you are into Total War, Warhammer 40k, Warhammer 40k in general, and strategy games, very important. I'm a variety strategy game channel. You came to the right place and you want to make sure to subscribe to not miss out on more games. With that said, thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, and I'll see you next time.